So we have discussed about the insert method, and we have seen how you can insert the data with the help of Apex. And this is the syntax. In the last video, what we have discussed is this. In this video, we are going to update same method, same class. We will write few update statement. I want to show you a few more things that you can play around with Apex when you try to do this DML operations. Okay, so let me quickly write a method called public static void update. Another note here. Okay, whenever you write a method, let's say you guys are working in a team, and suppose there are 5 developers, and I have written this method and you are going to write this method. How do I know who has written what method? If my team lead has to go and check the founder of this method who has written it, right, and need to check something, how do you know? So for that reason, whenever you write any class and method, write something like author is Rajesh, created date is whatever date, and this below method will update all records which is created in the above method, right? So always write these kind of statements like who has written, when it has been created, and what will this method, what kind of thing that method will do. So make sure you write these statements, because this would be very helpful for the entire team to reach out to the person who is the author of that particular thing. Instead of writing this slash, right, forward slash every time, what you can do is this. Just write one slash star, remove everything, and whenever you want to end this command, right, put here star and again that same slash. You get it? So from here to here, everything is commented. So use this star, slash, and star, and this. Okay, so have a habit to write these kind of statement before you start writing a method every time. Got it? Now what I'm going to do in this method is this. I'm going to fetch all the records where the whatever record that I have created, right, in the previous method. I'm going to fetch those records first and then update it. How do I fetch those records and then update? So my records are Rajesh testing 1, this testing 2, 3, 4. So how do you know what all the records that you want to fetch? See, in the account object, there could be hundreds of accounts, but I want to delete only those accounts where name is Rajesh testing, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. Wherever you find Rajesh testing, just delete it. So for that, I'm going to show you a small thing. Okay, see, SQL query has something called, you see this query I have written here, select ID name from account where name like, this is the operator called like. Okay, like, you don't put is equals to in the like, just put ampersand testing is. If you click on execute, this is going to fetch all the account record where the testing what is there in middle. There could be something in the beginning, because ampersand means this, right? There could be something in the beginning of testing and in the end of testing, because both I have given ampersand, right? And what if you remove this first ampersand? What will happen? Checks out. See, this will give me only that records where nothing is there before testing, but something is there after testing. Are you getting me? What if you put no ampersand? This will give me only that record when name is equals to testing. This will give you all the records where you have something in the beginning of testing. Something starts with and ends with testing. There is no record actually. Are you getting me? This use of this symbol. So we use this a lot when you have many records, and I basically have to fetch all the record where the name where the name like Rajesh, and before Rajesh nothing is there, right? See, Rajesh testing 1, Rajesh testing record 2. So before Rajesh nothing is there, so I'm going to remove the first symbol and execute. This is going to give me only those records where the record name starts with Rajesh and ends with whatever. Got it? Only these records. Simple. So my query is correct. Before you write the query in the Apex, make sure you write the query first in the editor, in this query editor, just to make sure your query is correct. So I'm going to copy this particular query and write it here. List of account. Definitely have to take account list and give a name. ACC list is equals to new list. What is the type? Account, right? Brackets. Now ACC list is equals to what? I have to give this query. I have copied it, put it here. So this is going to give me all the records where the record name starts with Rajesh and it would be ending with anything. Got it? If you want to print it just to make sure, ACC list has whatever data that you want to hold, right? You just put system.debug. That's what I'm telling you. Always put system.debug. Even though it just adds a lot of extra lines in your code, but this is very much helpful. Okay, when you put system.debug, you have your code in your control, right? When you do the debug. Now I'm gonna go and edit this method. It's called, what is the method name? Update method, right? Update method. What's gonna happen if I call this method? What's gonna happen? It will just fetch this data. I forgot to check the open debug, so I'm gonna go to logs. The first log that has been created, double click. This is how we can open the logs, correct? This is my log, click on debug only, and this is the ACC list. It has all the record where name is equal to Rajesh testing. Very simple. Now you have the list ready. Now if you want to update, you want to delete, you can do it here. Okay, I hope this is clear how to fetch the record with the operator called like in the SQL query. Yeah, so let's go ahead here and update. Here I have fetch ID, name and account numbers. Copy and go to query editor. Will be good. Let me see the account number 321. Okay, got it. What if I have to update the records where the account number is 123, not 321? Most of the accounts, all the account has 321 as the account number. I'm gonna go and this record, right? I'll just copy this ID, go here and change the account number. Account number, I'll make it as 123. So what if out of all the records, I should go and update only this record where the account number is 123? How do I do it? What do you think? What should be the change in your code? See, this is my code. First thing is you write here only where name like this and what? Account number is equals to 123. So this SQL query, as I told you in the previous video, will just fetch the needed data, right? It will not bombard with all the unnecessary data. And now if I go and execute this method, see, this is going to fetch only that record where both the where condition satisfied. I mean, name is equal to Rajesh and account number is equal to 123. You see, this is only one record. But do you think that is enough to update? How do you update it? How do you go and update this data? I know that this SQL query is giving only one record which you are holding in this variable, but how do you go and update that variable? You have to write a for, because for loop is something. For each loop, by the way, for loop, there are two types of for loop. I think if you're coming from Java, right, you have seen for I is equal to 0, I less than. That's one for loop, and this is called for each loop. Correct? So How do I write the for loop? Hope you remember the concept, the syntaxes, right? Account ACC dot ACC list bracket starts, and you want to do what? You want to update. So what do you want to update? Let's say you want to update the account number. So ACC dot account number is equals to whatever you want to change. You can do it. Very simple. 999. Now what's going to happen? I mean, are you going to write here update ACC? Yes? No? This will work definitely, correct? But the best practice is what? Best practice is always take a list. Here, I'm going to show you one small thing. We know how to take a list, right? Let me just deal with a map here. We have discussed the map in the previous videos. I'm going to use the map here, okay? So use this map. Take a map first. You know how to declare a map, right? This is how we declare a map. So map of ID, comma, account. ACC map is equals to, again, new map of ID, comma, account, right? Check this out. I have taken a map instead of a list. How do you insert the data? How do you put the data inside the map? Like in list, if you want to insert something, it's just add. But what is the method to insert something inside map? Do you remember that? It's put, correct? And here, see, this map can accommodate ID and account type of variable. So what exactly will put it here? Any idea? This map is expecting ID and account. So here you have to put ACC.ID, comma, entire ACC. You getting me? I would recommend you to use map always instead of a list whenever you do this kind of update operations, update or delete operation. You getting me? This is more safe because list can accommodate duplicate data. So there could be a scenario where if you take a list instead of a map, this list can have duplicate value, and when you try to update duplicate value, you'll get an error in the backend for sure. So if you take a map, see, map is always, this ID is always unique. So you're first inserting the ID, even though this for loop gives you duplicate data. Even though this for loop, let's say it's giving you duplicate data, because you're inserting the ID of that account first and then the account, this is always unique. This will just avoid the duplicate. You're getting me? So make sure you use map always here in this scenario. Whenever you have to, update something inside a for loop and hold it in a variable, and then outside of the for loop, you have to update it. Cool. Now this is how you have hold the data. How do you update it now? This is how you have to do it. If you remember, we have discussed that map, this variable, this is key and this is value. Correct? If you want to update, so you have to update the values, correct? So you'll be writing like this, update. The name of the map is this, dot values, okay, S. Because this, so let's dry run this, okay? And let's try to understand this. Suppose this for loop, this SQL query is giving you 5 records. Understand this, okay? This SQL query is giving you 5 records. 5 account record has been stored inside this ACC list. Yes. First time your for loop will run. The first record of this ACC list will come and sit into here, ACC, and that account number you have changed here. That account number's ID and that account will be stored here in this map first. Again, the for loop will run. Second record will come into this variable. Second record, account number has been updated and the account ID and the account is been stored here. Third time for loop will run. Fourth time for loop and fifth time for loop will run. Every time for loop runs, we'll keep adding or putting the values in this map. And in the end, you are just updating the values. Another time, I'm just explaining the same thing, why it is more preferable to use map here in this case instead of a list. Because If you use list here, there could be a scenario where the list can have duplicate data, and the moment you write update list, and let's say if the list is holding duplicate values, you will get an error, correct? But if you use map, so what you're doing inside this map, you're first adding the ID and then the account. So let's say first time for loop has run, same record you have inserted, and second time the same record is coming. So for an example, suppose second time if you try to insert the same ID, the map will not accept it. Why? Because map, this key is always unique. It will not entertain duplicate. So there will be no situation where your map will have duplicate values. So that error would never come, where if you use a list, there could be a duplicate data, and if you try to update the duplicate data, you'll get an error. But in this case, you'll never get an error. So always try to use map instead of a list. But this is basically list only. See, ACC map.values. How do you check if this is not empty? Before you update, you have to check whether this is empty or not. Same way, you have to put here if this map.values this dot is empty, is empty, because you have to put here not. Okay, don't forget to put it not, because this is aligned properly, right? So this is list end of the day, and because it is a list, it has a method called isEmpty, which will help you to check. Got it? So this syntax is something you have to be very, very familiar, because we're going to use the same syntax a lot in your Apex code. Please make sure you understand each and every line of this code. You type in by yourself and see the output. Every line is important. Okay, this is what exactly we do in the real coding. Hope this line number 47 is clear. This is basically a list. This map variable is having many data, and all the values are nothing but list of values. Okay, list of accounts, and you're checking isEmpty because isEmpty is a method of list class, and this is nothing but list only. After you check everything, you're just updating the values. Right now, if I call this method, what's going to happen? This will just change the account number from 123 to 999. Correct? Let me go and see the account number is. I think I already executed it, right? No. So this is the record. I'll just quickly refresh. This record account number is still 123. Yeah. So this will be fetched first. This SQL query will try to fetch that data first. And in the line number 44, it will initialize 999. It will put into this map. And then line number 49, this will be updated. So Control E, execute highlighted. And here we go. If I refresh, see it was 123. Now it has become 999. All right. Each and every word in this code is 100% clear to you. Hope so. Yeah. Now let's go ahead and implement it. Okay. Just spend your time and type in the code and see the use of map. Okay. Get a habit of use map every time in this kind of code. Okay. We will continue to use the same code next time. And before even I end this video, I'll quickly write another method and we'll show you how to use delete. Okay, delete is very simple. Just write another method, public static void delete method. Okay, and here, if you want to delete, how can you delete all the records when name is Rajesh testing 1 2 3 4 5? How do you do it? Very simple. Control C, Control V. I don't need this map here. Tell me one thing here. Do you think we should write a for loop if I want to delete the data? I want to delete all the record that has been fetched by this SQL query. Don't have to filter anything. So do you think we should write a for loop? No. For loop you'll write only when you have to read something what is there inside this ACC list. I don't have to read anything. Everything that we have inside ACC list, we should delete it. So it's simply just check if ACC list dot is empty. Always check is empty. Okay. If it is not is empty, then what you're going to do is open the brackets and just delete ACC list. Very simple. By the way, if I execute this delete method, what's going to happen? That record where name this will be deleted. Okay, I'm going to call this DELETE. If I click on execute, the record is still there. Yes. Why? Because if you go back and see the SQL query, see this. There is no record where name like this and account number is 123. All the account number is 999. Correct? I will go here and put 999. Control S, saved it, Control E, execute. Now if you see, these records will be now deleted. See all these 1 2 3 4 5 6 record. If I click on refresh, is deleting. Okay, this takes some time, by the way, right? It has not been deleted. Few record has been deleted. I think the account number is still something different. Let me go and see one record. See, the account number is 321. So it is not coming in the radar of this SQL query. Are you getting me why the rest of the record has not been deleted? Because you have written the SQL query where account number is 999. So only those records will be deleted where account number is this. What if I remove everything here? Now, what's going to happen now if I execute this method? Any idea? Now this is going to delete all the records where name contains Rajesh. Right? If I refresh, see, this record is gone. If I go to accounts, see, there is no record named Rajesh 1 2 3 4 5. Getting me, right? This is how you have to use the DML operation, like insert, update, delete. And this is the best practice that you have to maintain, like using this is empty, using the map. Do not use insert, update, delete operation inside for loop. All these are best practice that you have to follow as a Salesforce developer. All right, see you in the next video.